Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. Happy Friday.
Welcome back to our Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. Pretty mellow week around here.
Yep. You know, we're kind of getting the beginning phases of ski test up and running and writing and videoing and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, troubleshooting new website a little bit too. If you've browsed around our new website, maybe you've seen some images that were off or something like that, and we're kind of just working through all the little nitty-gritty details. And I think overall it's been a very positive launch.
Yeah, totally.
Put out our first ever mountain bike review on Monday this week.
That was fun.
Feels like a lifetime ago at this point.
I know, right?
So thanks to everybody who commented and gave us their feedback. It was mostly positive, except for the guy that wants to race me on a hardtail 26.
I can't wait for the race.
He hasn't gotten back to us, which I just thought it would be a hilarious video to make.
Yep.
Also, like, win or lose, like, hilarious. It would just be a hilarious story to tell. And I think with that, we can get right into the week's news. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, so first topic of the week. This is something that, Bob, you and I have, like, a lot of experience of our own with these systems.
Yes.
We have lived through this.
We've done it.
So Palisades Tahoe has announced a paid reserve in advance parking system. It's very interesting.
Yikes.
Not like, we don't have really the final details yet.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll hold off my total opinion until we get those details. But they're going to have a paid reservation-based parking system at both Palisades and Alpine Meadows. Obviously, this is an attempt to better manage the traffic congestion that they've been experiencing. Things that we don't know are things like pricing structure. So obviously that's huge. If it's $10, whatever. If it's $100,
yeah, watch out.
pitchforks.
Yeah.
Also, we do know that it will only be implemented on holidays and weekends. So quite similar to what we had in Stowe, minus the reservations. And it sounds like that's going to be a requirement that you make that in advance reservation.
So kind of a mix of what Alta did with their reservation system and what Stowe and other paid parking are going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reading through those comments on like Palisades Instagram page, it was a direct
copy-paste
from Stowe.
Yeah, 100%.
This is a cash grab. This is an outrage.
Yeah, same reactions.
Yeah. Although I will say that for Palisades, there was more people saying, like, the traffic situation was untenable. Like, what we've dealt with in the past few years, like, just was beyond awful. Yeah. And something had to be done.
You think more people seeing this as a necessary solution than our situation here in Stowe?
It seemed that way, yes.
I think overall, the local reaction, I think it's fair to say, has been negative.
Yep.
Some are even asking for past refunds. We basically saw that in Stowe too.
Yeah.
It's a natural response, like you advertised this product.
Yep.
I paid X amount of money for this product that you advertised. Now you are asking or telling me that in order to access the product that I already purchased, I need to pay whatever. X amount that we don't know what X is.
And it's tough to say because like they basically have like rolling past purchasing times. It's like
buy now, get a discount.
Right. Yeah, they can't like whoever it is, like Epic or Icon, they can't tell you when not to buy your pass.
Right.
Like they're not revolving their paid parking structure around when you buy your pass. I can see how some people can take that as like, that was shady.
Right.
Advertising this and then coming out with the other information.
Yeah. There's obviously like some logistics challenges there.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like things don't always just like fall into place for a business.
Right.
Sometimes like you've got this project going on and this project going on. And ideally this project would finish before this project, but who knows? It might have gotten pushed back and they're not going to just like not sell season passes.
Right.
So I understand it. I thought, we, as like I said, we've lived through a similar situation in the last 12 months
Yep.
here in Stowe. I think that's when, around a year ago, they started talking about paid parking. And so I probably paid to park 10 times this year. It was what, $35? $25?
30.
30?
Yeah.
So, that's a $300 expense.
Yep.
I'd love to have that $300 back. So I'll start there. I also parked in the free remote lots quite a bit.
Yeah.
Added maybe 5 to 10 minutes onto my commute to the mountain, which on an early coaching day was tough. So there were some negative aspects of the paid parking system, but it is hard to argue against its effectiveness.
Especially on Fridays. Fridays here.
That's completely different.
Fridays here were a dream.
Fridays are the best ski day. That's Stowe because it's paid parking and no one goes and it's midweek, so it's
Yeah.
there's no one there.
Yeah.
But selfishly, yeah. Yay, Fridays. But I say last year or 2 seasons ago, maybe there were 10 days where there was a big backup of traffic
Right.
into the mountain. And this past year there was maybe 1?
Yeah, a lot of people would blame that on not as many snowy days, but
Yeah.
still, it was pretty measurable to see the effect that
Right.
the system had.
If the goal is to reduce traffic congestion,
Yeah.
it is hard to argue against that effectiveness.
Yeah,
So it's tough. It's sort of one of those things that it could be a necessary evil.
yeah, and we've said before, however many times we've talked about paid parking, there's 0 people in the world that enjoy any
Paying
type
to
of
park.
paid parking.
Right.
No one likes
That's
it.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun when
Right.
I parked and was cool, I get to pay now.
Right.
This is great.
Or you get to take the shuttle bus.
Yeah.
That's not.
Also, in my defense, I only paid to park on days where I was being paid to be at the mountain.
So your net was closer.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. It was I lost an hour of coaching or whatever.
Best of luck to those people out there.
Yeah.
I hope it goes well.
Totally. And we probably spent a long time on that.
We could talk about paid parking and gondolas
totally
just all day.
Hours. Yeah. Probably that's all people want to
Yeah.
hear about anyways.
I know.
Kind of following that same trend, or at least that same theme, we've got a couple of articles from the Colorado Sun this week. This first one is just a kind of general article and a report from Headwaters Economics about the popularity of mountain towns. And I feel when we have these conversations, it's generally kind of negative.
Yeah.
Look at all these problems. And this report, or this research group, the report from this research group was largely positive while also kind of highlighting issues.
Yeah.
They're basically trying to provide solutions to issues. So the group is based in Bozeman, Montana. This report they called The Amenity Trap, How High Amenity Communities Can Avoid Being Loved to Death, which just sounds so dark.
Yeah, it sure does. But again, we're seeing it right out our door.
Totally.
Here.
Yep. And basically in this report, they identified 4 key issues: housing, infrastructure and public services, fiscal, financial issues, and natural disasters. Natural disasters.
That sounds dark.
Yeah.
I don't think tourists cause floods.
Well, that's totally. Natural disasters I've always thought the term natural disaster was funny.
Right.
Nature doesn't think it's a disaster.
Just doing its thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only a disaster to us, civilized human beings who have decided to, form societies and cities on top of nature.
Well, we're part of nature too.
Anyways, so they basically went through those 4 issues that they identified and kind of tried to provide solutions or at least recommendations for dealing with that. Speaking to housing, they recommended imposing stronger taxes and or restrictions on second homeowners or short-term rentals, basically helping to free up long-term rentals. Common theme here
Yep.
on Top 5 Fridays. We see it firsthand here in Stowe. Also working with local governments to basically get new housing developments approved and ground broken.
Yeah.
Which we don't see too much of in Stowe, but we certainly see in our neighboring towns.
Well, I mean, there are new developments in housing going up,
That's
but
true.
they're millions of dollars.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's not like there's affordable housing going up.
Well, just to
Morrisville,
the north
I guess.
in Morrisville,
But those aren't even like that affordable.
slightly more.
Yeah.
At least a working class person can live there.
Yep.
Many of our coworkers live there. Anyways. And then they also went into infrastructure, which they kind of cited as having more diverse challenges. And the general recommendation there was focused investments on infrastructure on things that benefit locals rather than things that benefit visitors, which I thought was a very interesting and profound way to look at it. And I think it's super easy for towns like us, Stowe, to get caught up in the how are we best serving our guests rather than how are we best serving our locals.
Right.
So, pretty cool.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of athletic fields here in Stowe that are getting more and more parsed out to events.
Yep.
That are
Right,
that are
exactly.
tourist draws as opposed to local athletic programs.
Like the medieval fest or whatever
Yeah,
that thing
the
is.
Renaissance Fair.
Renaissance
yeah,
Fair.
the LARPers.
That's been around for a while, though. That's not a great example, but it does eat up those
Yeah.
fields.
Yep. And so definitely the local community, whether it's kids or adult programs, are getting slowly reduced times.
Lacrosse tournaments,
Yeah,
they're gone, though, right?
I don't know. It's hard to keep up.
Only rumors and hearsay. And that's it. I'm not going to go into details on the rest. You can find a link to that entire report. If you're interested in this stuff, I would definitely encourage you to go check it out for yourself. And then the other article that we have from the Colorado Sun, this is a fun one, really just speaking about the rise of adaptive skiing. And we've got a fun adaptive edit when we get to edits of the week, too. So they kind of talk a lot about a partnership between Eldora Mountain and Ignite Adaptive Sports. Started back in 1975, just operating out of a van. And now they are about to start building a 6,000 square foot facility to open in the 24-25 ski season.
Crazy.
So it's just cool to see the development of adaptive sports or adaptive skiing over the last few decades. They also talked about how there are 14 other ski resorts in Colorado that offer adaptive programs. There are multiple adaptive programs here in Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
We go and ski with them and film some movement analysis stuff for them. 100% volunteer. It's always super fun.
Yeah, those sit skiers are amazing.
They're crazy. They are
It's
insane.
amazing. Yeah, and their little setup there is about
Equally
as high
as-
tech as you can get.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like a motocross bike. Skis
Yeah.
on it, no motor.
Yeah, yeah, carbon fiber
Yeah.
buckets and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. And kind of the theme of this article is that technology and accessibility for adaptive skiing is at an all-time high. The adaptive scene is positioned really in a really strong, healthy position right now to continue to grow, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Then you've got guys like Trevor Kennison. You're seeing more and more crazy things done by sit skiers.
Yep.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
So check out both those articles from the Colorado Sun. And then finally we have a highlight of Eileen Shiffrin from skiracing.com. This is Michaela Shiffrin's mom and longtime coach. Kind of just tells the story of her childhood, how she got into skiing, a little bit of her competitive skiing when she was a kid, college, how she met Jeff, just the whole thing.
Yep.
The story of Michaela Shiffrin's creation.
Right. Should be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's just pretty interesting.
Yep.
Nothing crazy here, but it is a great story if you're interested to learn more about Eileen. And then lastly, we have our edits of the week. So first up is that adaptive edit that I mentioned. It's called All In on TC Summit. It's the story of 4 adaptive skiers skiing off the Treble Cone summit, which looked super fun.
Yep.
There was one quote from one of them that was like, "Sorry, ski racing, this is way more fun." Because I imagine that like adaptive ski racing is probably way more prevalent than like backcountry adaptive skiing.
I would imagine so too, yeah.
So pretty cool. I would check that out. And then we've had a lot of edits from these guys. We've got another one this week. It's called "We Really Shouldn't Play Basketball" from the Magma crew. Actually, bonus, there are some shots of the line Chronics in here,
Ooh.
which we just talked about yesterday. And yeah, these guys are turning into a duo or a group of skiers that is equally entertaining and humorous as they are talented and skilled on skis, which I think is really cool. I just love kind of when people or athletes who are known more for their physical achievements and endeavors, when you start to get to know their like real personality, I really enjoy that stuff.
Yep, it's all good.
And then we've got a couple edits here from GoPro. First one is skiing and biking down the world's tallest sand dune. Bob, we both agree that this looked quite fun.
The skiing looked really smooth.
Yeah.
Like if you just kind of altered your coloring a little bit on the video,
could have been snow.
Could have been snow.
There was a big sand pit near my house growing up.
Yep.
And I tried to ski down it a few times, and it was not as successful.
I always used to like to jump off.
The run and jump, and then just tumble.
Yeah, you like
go
very
so
close
far.
to fall, like flying.
Yeah, right. Even after you hit the ground, it still feels like flying because you're just falling.
Vivid memories.
Glad we lived a similar childhood, Bob. And then last edit of the week, we've got Loic Bruni's course preview from Lenzerheide. That is the first stop of the UCI World Cup downhill circuit that starts this weekend. If you've never watched World Cup downhill mountain biking, I would highly encourage you to tune in this weekend because those guys are absolutely insane.
The sport is way too dangerous.
Yep.
There's no reason for that sport to exist.
Yeah, it's really fun though. Yeah, super fun. And we've got a couple local Vermonters out there at Lenzerheide. So best of luck to Riley Miller and Dylan Conte. I'm sure they're gonna make us proud.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think Riley was like 8th qualifier in the junior women's, so already off to a great start.
Sweet.
So that's it for this week's Top 5 Fridays. Bob, you got anything exciting going on?
Last week in the spring sports before summer vacation, so we'll get it all out of the way.
Lacrosse,
soccer, lacrosse.
Soccer's a spring sport here?
Club teams.
So confusing.
You're not the only one.
Huh. Anyways, so I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back next week with another Top 5, and got a bunch of other fun stuff planned for next week too. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you then.
Bye.